Not only is it a science vessel, it's a science vessel that ice breaks, and that combination is really special.
Having Nuyina and going down on her is going to be phenomenal. I had a walk around for the first time just yesterday, and it's an impressive ship.
Ever taken a look inside an icebreaker? Before it departed on its latest voyage to Antarctica, the ABC was given a tour of the Australian Antarctic Division's new icebreaker, Nuyina.
I'm voyage leader on Nuyina's next trip to Antarctica. I'm looking after the safety and welfare of those on board.
And we went straight to the top.
Welcome to the bridge of the Nuyina. This is the place from which the ship's controlled. When the ship's in operation, of course, it's just about voyage management. But when we're at anchor and we're effecting resupply, it's about monitoring weather conditions, but in particular wind speed and the movement of ice around the bay.
And this voyage isn't expected to be all smooth sailing, with seas of up to 10 metres a possibility.
Yeah, what about BTS? All fast and finished for the day. Thank you, BTS out.
These cameras will paint a picture of how the ice is looking down on the continent. Ground truthing, they call it, corroborating what can be seen on satellite. There will, of course, be more scientific ways of measuring ice while they're down there as well. Staring straight from the bridge sits another bridge, the Nuyina's nemesis. For beyond the Tasman Bridge is Hobart's only ship refuelling station. And the icebreaker's not allowed through, an issue it's working to resolve. The alternative for now is a costly trip to northern Tasmania to refuel. Back on board, our next stop is the observation deck, which is actually the social hub of the ship. Its size, compared to the previous icebreakers, is described as a game changer. Roomier, more relaxing, and on relaxing.
This is one of our standard expeditioner cabins. We can have up to 2 people in here, but on this particular voyage we're only going to have the 1 person.
Many people lying here seasick?
Oh look, we have a few people every voyage, depending on the weather, that do get sick. But we've got a doctor and nurse on board, so they're well looked after.
This voyage will take 29 expeditioners and a crew of 45. RSV Nuyina wasn't just made to plough through ice. RSV stands for Research and Supply Vessel. So this deck here is one of the key parts of the vessel. Down there is where they'll deploy scientific equipment into the water, and it's also where they bring it back in. And in rough seas, it's said not to be uncommon for it to be entirely submerged. Once they've got their samples, it's off to the science wing. So this is one of the labs on board the vessel, and in these spaces, versatility is the key. So as you can see, we have troughs here where scientists can do water-based research. Otherwise, we have these plywood bench tops that you can bring down and they can drill their equipment into the plywood. Plywood being that if it causes any damage, they can simply replace them for the next voyage. The researchers on this voyage will focus on sea ice and seabirds. So that's research. What about supply? This voyage is to restock Casey's station for a year. So, more than 1 million litres of diesel, 80,000 kilos of fresh, frozen and dry food, 500 kilos of the all-important coffee beans, and 730 litres of ice cream ought to do it. Resupply can be done by air, Nuyina has a helideck, and by sea.
Yeah, I'm the watercraft coordinator for V2 and V3 for the resupply this season.
While it's Carly Patasi's first trip.
So this trip I'm a watercraft operator, so I drive the little red boats that go on the big red boat.
It's Dr. Jamie Cleland's 7th. They're on a team of 12 tasked with setting up an ice line, an aquatic fence if you like, to keep ice away from things like the fuel line. But they're also on board with research.
I've signed up for bird counting, I'm there for it.
Seeing the Antarctic, seeing the ice and the loss of sea ice can be quite upsetting, but for me I really like to focus on my research and having that good contribution to climate change research.
As is their leader.
And when you do travel south, you see the reality of it, and that's shocking, and I guess that's part of my motivation for being involved in the program.
The 1,848 nautical mile journey takes 7 days, meaning they'll be there over Christmas.
We'll do a secret Santa, And I think there's obligatory Hawaiian shirts that have to be worn.
Taking supplies and plenty of spirit to the coldest continent on Earth.